A meeting can be full of intelligent people, honest disagreement, and useful data, and still produce nothing except another meeting. Imagine a launch team on Monday morning. Engineering wants real customer feedback now. Brand wants one more polished pass. Customer support wants clearer documentation. Everyone is protecting something valuable. 90 minutes later, the team has added 2 approval steps, a new risk review, and a follow-up call. The launch date is still blank. That looks like a communication problem. It isn't. The team has no agreed way to act before certainty arrives. In teams that meet the moment, organizational designer Karina Mangu-Ward offers a set of practices for exactly this kind of friction. The useful insight isn't that teams need fewer opinions. It's that opinions need a path into a decision. Here's a 4-move reset. Name the trade-off, make a proposal, test for a valid objection, and schedule the learning. Use it well, and disagreement stops being a traffic jam. It becomes steering. Before using the loop, give it a home. A traditional org chart tells you who reports to whom. It usually does not tell a temporary project team what this mission is, which role owns which decision, or when an issue must escalate. A short team charter can make those rules visible. Mangu-Ward often recommends reviewing that charter on roughly a 12-week horizon. Treat that as a useful design choice, not a law of nature. The point is to keep the operating agreement alive. If the work changes but the rules never do, the team is following a map of a place that no longer exists. First, name the trade-off. When a problem gets uncomfortable, teams often add a feature, add a goal, add another person to the call. In 2021, researchers reported 8 experiments showing that people often overlooked useful subtractive changes unless subtraction was made more salient. The study doesn't prove that every overloaded project comes from one mental bias, but it explains why let's do both can feel more natural than choosing what to remove. The bill arrives later, 5 priorities, each supposedly first. Mangu-Ward's tool for breaking that spell is an even-over statement. Put 2 good things on the table, then state which one leads in this situation. For our hypothetical launch, the team might choose learning even over polish for this test. Notice what that sentence does not say. Polish is worthless. Quality no longer matters. Ship anything and pray. It says that, for a limited experiment, learning wins when the 2 values collide. The trade-off is explicit, temporary, and available to everyone. Now the team can spot work that violates the choice without turning the conversation into a fight about personal standards, but a priority is only a compass. The room still needs a move. So, second, make a proposal. We should move faster is not a proposal. It has no owner, no boundary, and no finish line. August, the firm where Mangu-Ward is a partner, teaches 4 parts. Share the context, explain the impact, offer a first move, and define how you will assess it. Applied to our launch, it could sound like this. Beta users are waiting, and internal debate is no longer producing new information. I propose we release the new flow to 10% of users for 7 days. We'll monitor completed tasks, error reports, and support tickets. If any safety threshold is crossed, we pause. On Friday, the product owner will review the evidence and decide whether to expand, revise, or stop. Now the room has something solid to improve. The proposal can be narrowed, the thresholds can be sharpened, ownership is visible. Most importantly, the team is reacting to a possible action, not decorating a cloud of opinions. That leads to the hard part. What if people still disagree? Most teams reach for consensus. They keep talking until everyone can live with the same answer, or until the most persistent person outlasts the clock. The alternative in Mangu-Ward's model is consent. The direction matters. Consent instead of requiring consensus, not the other way around. Consent does not mean silence. It actively looks for objections, but it raises the quality bar for blocking the move. In August's Safe to Try model, I prefer a different headline is not a valid objection. Neither is I have a bad feeling with nothing behind it. A valid objection identifies real harm the team could not reverse before it had time to adjust, and it should help reveal a change that would make the proposal safer. That distinction changes the meeting. Preference still matters as feedback. It just doesn't automatically become a veto. The decision owner still exists. That person listens, edits the proposal, and carries the result forward. Consent is not decision-making by fog. It is participation with ownership. That separation is essential. Feedback can be distributed, accountability cannot disappear. If every participant can keep reshaping the proposal indefinitely, consent quietly mutates back into the consensus trap. Name the owner before the discussion begins. Name whose input is required, who must be informed, and the moment when the owner will decide. That does not make criticism ceremonial. It tells criticism where to land and tells the team who is responsible for turning it into action. And safe to try is not a license for recklessness. If the choice involves physical safety, legal compliance, sensitive data, ethics, or a large irreversible investment, slow down. Bring in the right expertise. Demand stronger evidence. Some doors are expensive to close after you walk through them. For the everyday reversible decisions that fill most calendars, though, ask a cleaner question. What damage could happen before we review this, and can we limit it now? If the answer is yes, run the test. Then comes the move rush team skip. Schedule the learning. An experiment without a review is not agility. It is amnesia with a launch date. At a regular review point, ask 3 questions. What worked? Where did we get stuck? What might we do differently? Start with 2 quiet minutes so every person writes before the loudest voice sets the story. Cluster the answers. Then choose one structural change for the next cycle. Name its owner and decide when you will inspect it. That last step matters because psychological safety is not simply being nice. Amy Edmondson's field study of 51 manufacturing teams described it as a shared belief that interpersonal risk-taking is safe and linked it with learning behavior. A team cannot learn from an error that nobody feels able to name. Now replay Monday morning. The team names the trade-off, learning even over polish for this test. The product owner makes a bounded proposal. The group improves it, then checks for objections grounded in preventable harm. A 7-day experiment gets an owner, thresholds, and a Friday review. The team has not predicted the future. It has built a responsible way to meet it. Which phrase would change your next meeting most? Even over, I propose, or safe to try? Put that one in the comments. A team meets the moment not when everyone is certain, but when uncertainty has somewhere useful to go.